Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. We have two special guests with us here today. We have Ling Zou, General Manager of SE Electronics, and we have Tom Stubics, Product Manager from SE Electronics. Thanks for coming in.
Yes.
Great to have you here.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. So SE Electronics is quite the success story.
Thank you.
The company was founded in 2000. They're making great microphones. The reflection filter was an innovation that you guys came up with. So many great products over the years. And your father actually started the company.
Yes, he founded the company. He was a musician, a conductor, and he wanted to be an entrepreneur. He loved microphones, and ultimately he wanted to have better control over his business by building his own manufacturer. And this is kind of how SE started.
Right.
And this is kind of how I got involved too.
Right, right. I thought it was interesting looking at the site, and we were talking yesterday, that your father really, his approach is really from the musician side of things and wanting to make sure that the music is really being captured with as much accuracy as possible.
Yes, he's very much a musician, also has a very charismatic personality. And while we all played instruments growing up, I'm more of the stable personality, and I like to get things done. I'm very organized. So he's the one with the great ideas, and I'm the one who gets it done. Right,
right. So when the, I guess, kind of the beginning of the company's roots were actually here in the United States. He was
Yes.
working at universities, teaching music and doing those kind of things. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, Sonoma State University. This is where I grew up in Roanoke Park, Sonoma County, Northern California, beautiful place. My parents went to school there, I went to school there, and yeah, that's when we started.
Okay, and then when he decided to actually get formally into the manufacturing business, he moved to Shanghai and set things up there.
Yes, our grandparents at that time lived in Shanghai. My parents were from Shanghai. I was actually born in Shanghai until I moved to the U.S. when I was very young. So it was going back. My parents were able to take care of my grandparents. They were able to start the manufacturer there, so it's a good fit for them.
Yeah, right. It's awesome. It's a family-based company, which is
very much
so
so.
Cool. Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah. And Tom, you have a long history in the microphone business, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. I've been working for 15 years for AKG in Vienna. Worked with a great team of engineers. Worked together with leading sound engineers and also artists, and yeah, we built some great products.
Yeah.
And still benefit from that time a lot.
Right. And you're a guitar player.
Yes, that's actually almost everyone in our team has a strong relationship to music, plays an instrument or has a strong recording background. Yeah, so I think we know what we are doing.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And one of the benefits of being in Shanghai is that, of course, you're right there with the manufacturing, but there's a lot of engineering talent and things there as well, which is one of the things that I think has really helped you create the quality products that you make.
Yes, we have a great team. We have skilled engineers who's been with the company for over 10 years. We also have access to great engineering overseas. We have a great product manager who puts together the idea, and then we follow through.
Right. One of the things that really differentiates the SE Electronics products in my mind is basically the manual involvement, if you will, with the manufacturing process, the hand tuning of the microphones. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I believe that our purpose is to create enjoyment and trust. And in order to create trust, we need to have full control over the manufacturing process, over the selection of our materials, over the manufacturing of our tooling. So in order to build really good products, you have to start from scratch. And this is why we build our own capsules, we build our own microphones. So we can have full control, so we can do quality control at every step of the way, and then make sure the finished product is the perfect product. Yes.
Right. Tom, take us a little bit through the process of, you have an idea for a new product. How does it get from the idea, the conception, all the way to where it's finally released?
Yeah, everything starts with an idea. It's sometimes from a team member, sometimes also from leading sound engineers or from artists. And we put everything together, a concept. We think also about applications, about risks and so on. And then we start to build a sample. So that's quite easy. Yeah? And we're trying to get feedback from artists, from externals. We also do a lot of testing, since every one of us is a musician, more or less, or sound engineer.
Right.
And then we keep on improving. Yeah? We send out one sample, then 5 samples, then 10 samples, get feedback. And then we work very hard until the product meets our expectations, until it's finally good enough for release. Yeah?
Right.
Everything needs to be perfect. And as usual, a good product is the sum of many, many details.
Right. Right. So when it comes to the actual manufacture of that, is there a process you go through to establish a line where that's built? And since there's so much hand involvement, how does that work to actually get the product made?
Well, I would say the beginning is the manufacturing process starts with capsule. So we would have an assembly process where the capsule is made. First, we would inspect all the materials, make sure to prepare the material for assembly, and then once assembled, we would test the subcomponent, which is the capsule itself. And then, of course, then you have the PCB. And, of course, again, we would prepare, inspect all the material that is going to go onto the circuit board. And then we would complete the circuit board assembly and then test the circuit board assembly itself as a subcomponent. And then the product would be assembled. The capsule and the PCB and the microphone mechanical components would be assembled. And then you would also you would do a final inspection of the microphone. It would be a sound check. It would be the specification testing. And then you make sure the product is perfect before it goes out.
Right, right. One of the interesting things I thought was interesting, what you told me this yesterday, is that you've had basically everyone in the company involved with packing the final products before they leave. Why do you do that?
Because I did that myself when I started with the company. And a couple years into it, when I packed the product, there was very much an emotional attachment because you work very hard, but when you pack a product, you realize how beautiful it is. And you touch the product, it's like your own child. You know, you clean up everything, you put it in a great looking box, you cover it up, and you ship it off into a carton, and you load the container.
Right.
There's an emotional attachment you have to the product, and I want to make sure that everybody feels that, and everybody has a sense of reward and a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. So I would think, even though it's a very small step, and I think it builds the emotional connection.
Right, right. I think that's very cool. One of the things that differentiates SE is you actually own your own factory.
Yes,
correct. What are the benefits of owning your own production?
More control over quality. Yes, more control over the material selection, more control over every step of the way in the manufacturing process. I mean, it's difficult work, it's challenging, and it's painstaking, but at the end of the day, when someone tells you have a great product, it creates a lot of value for them, and that you realize, okay, it's all worth it.
Right, right. One of the, I would say, major coups that SE Electronics has had over the years is you're working with Rupert Neve. How did that come about, and what's his involvement with the company?
My father actually is friends with Rupert. They're both Christians. They talk about their religious faith. They talk about their aspirations, and they're both. My father is respects Rupert a lot, and for him it was a great pleasure. And to work with Rupert. So that's kind of how we started. And Rupert, I know, always wanted to make microphones. And when they got together, it was an inevitable cooperation.
Right, right, right. The ribbon microphone is just incredible with the extended top end response and the detail. It's one of the things that stood out for me with SE Electronics is you don't do Me Too products. You know, if you come out with a dynamic microphone, there are differences there. You put your own stamp on it and your own ideas. Is that something you're consciously looking at, that I don't want to just come out with something like someone else did, but we want to do something else with it? Or how do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's very important that you do something in the right manner and also do the right products. It's very important that you talk to artists, to people. Yeah, they're creative people. They need some kind of tools or instruments. In our case, it's a microphone to do their job in a certain manner. And especially on microphones, you're capturing not just audio, it's emotions what you capture. And it's so important to work with them directly, because only that way you get a sense for music and the emotions, and then you're able to understand, okay, how does this work and how to translate it into perfect products.
Right, right, right. Fascinating, fascinating. One of the products that SE is known for is the reflection filter, the whole family actually of products. Tell us where the idea for that came from and your vision for what that does.
Wow, okay, the story behind that is that, again, we had a studio in a garage. Yeah, and at that time, a lot of people also had this. And then we did homemade acoustic treatment to the studio, and that's how we came up with the idea. And at that time, we wanted something that was also portable. So at that time, when we came up with the idea, everybody said, it would not work. but we were very persistent. And we said, so we made the first prototype, and then we managed to convince some people, and it became a wildfire, and everybody was convinced.
Right.
But the idea really started from just having the home studio that needed acoustic treatment and needed something that was also portable for musicians that was moving from different locations. So yes, that's kind of how it started.
Right. It's been a tremendous line of products, and I know so many musicians use those to great effect. So let me ask this. After now going on 18 years of manufacturing microphones and reflection filters and all the different models you guys have come out with, what's left? What's still left to be done with microphones?
Plenty.
Yeah?
Plenty, yes. I mean, we started out as a small family company. We now have a great team. We want to grow, not just for the company, but for all of our team members. We want them to also to grow and to know that there's a bigger market out there. There's different segments of the market, and we want to explore.
Right. Yeah. Nice. I think there's a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you very much.
We're so excited to have you here. You came in from Shanghai. You came in from Vienna. So you guys travel a little ways to get here.
We do, but it's exciting. We love to travel.
Right.
So
well, we're happy to have you visit us here. It was great to meet you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ling.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.